Welcome back. You are tuning in to Traders Nation. Thanks for staying with us. I'm pleased to have another original broadcast interview, this time with Barry Libert. He wrote, book author of We Are Smarter Than Me, How to Unleash the Power of Crowds in Your Business. Of course, Barry, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Thanks for having me today.
Good. Listen, Barry, Wikinomics and the wisdom of the crowds, they identified the phenomenon of emergent social networks, of course, but they didn't confront how businesses can profit from these huge organizations or groups or networks, if you will. How did you touch on that in We Are Smarter Than Me?
Simply, we said Wikinomics gives you the thesis, or like you said, the backdrop to how to do it. We said, okay, where does a company begin? So when you read the book, what we help companies and readers understand is where to get started. And the simple thing we told readers through the book was you start with simply a process like sales or marketing or product research or customer support. 2, you identify a crowd that's interested in that particular process and improving it. And 3, give them some technology and let them run to the races.
Yeah, technology, isn't it's becoming more and more event as far as any industry or small business to large business is concerned. Really, doesn't that bring the efficiency into it? And with the larger crowds, does that help?
Absolutely. So today's technology, I'll call it Web 2.0 technologies, is an extension of what all of us have learned how to use when we use Google to do searches. Now it's basically finding somebody, a friend, a research associate, an expert, anybody from around the world, and using that group or crowds of people to help you do your job better, faster, more effectively than doing it by yourself.
Right. All right. So what would be a good example that someone can use social networking or community for their business?
Well, let's take some simple ones. One is customer support. Most of us have been on bulletin boards nowadays and found, that we know how to work with somebody else who has a similar problem than we do to find a problem. An example I'll give is when you buy a new Apple iPhone and you have some problems with its current releases, you go online to Apple and you talk to other people who have the exact same issues and opportunities than you are, and you learn from that crowd how to fix your particular problem. And the same thing with cars, I find. I go on the forum regularly, my for-car forum regularly, to find out what other people are doing who have the same problems I have, because oftentimes the dealers don't know how to fix something, and the groups of people or the crowd does.
Now, wouldn't that be like an extension of customer service for a company? Well, I mean, that's smart business, isn't it?
It is absolutely an extension. All this is extending what businesses are already doing, but much faster, much better, and much cheaper. So if you think about it, companies already they design new products, they sell existing products, they do marketing, but they do it on their nickel, using their balance sheet or their income statement, using their business people. Now you can use people who don't work for you, and I don't mean people in India and China, I mean right here in the United States, to help you better improve your company and the things that you do.
In my opinion, I still think there's companies or even large corporations out there. They just, I don't know if they get it or they don't, because I don't know. Not all of them have tapped into that. Let me ask you something. Do you think that maybe major corporations may be afraid to use some type of social networking in case there's a problem that their own social network may actually turn on them?
Absolutely. So I think we live in a world still which is command and control, be it both the political world or the corporate world, in where the leaders command from the top. They still lead from the top. And the idea of turning on a social network or a crowd to have real conversations is something that lots of leaders have given lip service to for a long time. Now these Web 2.0 tools allow people to really have a voice, and leaders are frightened about what their customers and employees are going to say.
One good example comes to mind. Microsoft. They've had problems with Vista. Another report's coming out today. I read about it. Probably one of the worst products in '07. And so that comes to mind to me as potentially where you have these own users actually using the blogs or what have you against their own products and company. All right, now, we offer a lot of powerful insights in the book and new case studies, in particular product development, manufacturing, and things of that nature. Which case study really stands out in We Are Smarter Than Me?
Well, I really like Procter & Gamble because most people think of it as a very large and institutional and established company. But they use crowds now to do product innovation. And one of the cases that's in the Procter & Gamble story in the book is about how they use mothers at home who are watching their daily soap operas, the one they advertise to, and turn them into a crowd of innovators to help them design a new version of Dawn soaps. And what I think is really great about it is here they harnessed 850,000 stay-at-home moms to not only view their shows, but contribute fresh new ideas, and then help them sell their product and service their product. And another great example in the book is Nike, where Nike's using running groups now to design the next version of their shoes.
Right.
And Nike's saving $250 million as a result of that.
So these companies, they're bringing in experts, if you will, whether they stay-at-home moms or runners, if you will. They're bringing them into the envelope of the corporation. And what an asset.
You see, I think it's amazing because if you think about it, for Procter & Gamble's perspective, they realized, Lafley, who's the chairman, realized years ago that their 5,600, I think that's the number, of researchers didn't compare to, I think there's something, tens of thousands of employees who could also provide product research. But 850,000 moms, I think it's an amazing thought that essentially companies could harness the wisdom of anybody who's interested in their business to help them improve it.
All right. Which business functions can best be accomplished or supported by communities? Not all of them can they?
I think over time they can.
Yeah.
But let's start with the ones that are early adopters. I think customer support is early adopters. And why I think that is customers want support. And they know that other people like them have the same problems. An example I constantly use is both Netflix and TripAdvisor.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking for a movie to rent online, or I'm looking to go to a resort or a hotel, and I want to talk to people like me about their experience of either watching a movie and or going to a hotel that would be something my family would like to go to. Great example of companies that are using crowds to help in customer support, and I think every company can use a crowd to improve their customer support.
Boy, you got that right. In fact, in some cases, customer support really lacks, and that should be on the top of any company's list, without a doubt. All right, now from tools and processes to culture and leadership, of course, We Are Smarter Than Me can help someone transform the promise of social networking into a profitable reality, can it?
I think every day, because right now everybody understands, or most leaders understand, because of their kids, Facebook, and how Facebook is changing the way their kids are fundamentally interacting, right? They're closer, they're interacting much more often, sharing a lot more information, not just about, where they're eating and who they're dating, but my son uses it in college about which courses to take, which are the good faculty, how they're sharing information in terms of what types of research they need to do well. What business leaders are realizing, wow, I can harness those sort of technologies in my business to help employees find each other, to improve their performance, to locate an expert inside the organization, to do better support in sales by just being constantly in contact with other people that are like themselves.
That's absolutely awesome. All right, now you have a website. What's that web address?
www.wearesmarter.org, and we hope everybody will join.
All right, wearesmarter.org. Wearesmarter.org. Of course, head on over there today. Now, Barry, where can we find the book?
You can find them at your local Barnes & Noble bookstore, Amazon.com online, and obviously any other retailer of books. You should find it on that local shelf.
All right, there you have it. All right, go down to your favorite local bookstore, whether it be the small business of Barnes & Noble, of course, Amazon.com, just like all these Barry had mentioned. And, of course, Barry, we appreciate your time today on Traders Nation.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. Barry Libert, all right. We are smarter than me. We are smarter than me. How to unleash the power of crowds in your business. And I tell you what, technology and the crowds, very, very powerful tools businesses should be using as assets, and some of these corporations, small to very large, are utilizing these tools, and very, very important.